Welcome back to Literally My Life, My Guide to Girlhood, the podcast where growing up is messy, glowing up is spiritual, and no one's got it figured out, but we're showing up anyway. I'm your host, Alexandra El-Amin, Chicago Barbie, Boulder bound, soft but not to be played with, and this season we're healing in private, glowing in public, and becoming women we actually like. Let's get into it. Hi everyone, and welcome back to yet another episode of Literally My Life, My Guide to Girlhood. Being back feels so refreshing and so good. I'm so excited to be doing the podcast again. And today is a very, very special episode because today's episode is our very first episode since I moved from Chicago to Colorado for college. I really want to touch on that, moving to Boulder, this whole Chicago Barbie thing that's happening with me because that's just been the craziest part of my life. Going to college, adjusting, making new friends, and just talking about that whole section of my life. I've been in college now about 9 weeks, almost 10 now. Absolutely insane. I'm almost done with my first semester. That's how long our hiatus was. That's absolutely insane. And I've just learned so much about life, so I have to share it with you guys because it is literally my life. But before we get into it, please make sure to follow my Instagram and TikTok. Both links are in the episode description below. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, especially if you're on YouTube, and if you're on Spotify, please leave a review. I love reading the reviews. So without further ado, let's get into today's episode. So we're just talking about what's been going on since I've been gone from the podcast. Now, I've been pretty active on social media about sharing my life, but I know the podcast is kind of like the main feed for a lot of people getting to know what's going on with me. So don't worry, I'll catch you guys up. Don't even worry about it. So I moved to Boulder about 10 weeks ago, as I mentioned, and it has been quite the culture shock. I want to do a whole episode on moving and making friends and the college life because it is nothing like grownish, let me tell you. But I just want to touch on it briefly here. It is hard to be on your own. I don't know if you guys had super involved parents in high school, but I did. My mom used to help me with a lot of stuff. I'm really close with my mom. And so if I wasn't pushed to where I needed to be, my mom was the person to give me that extra push. And it's hard to be on my own without her because I need that sometimes. So I call her every day. I FaceTime her every day. I'm on the phone with my mom all the time. So it kind of feels the same as if I was from home, but it's hard to be on your own at times and learn how to be organized and get things done. And we'll touch on that later. But I feel 10 weeks in, finally I'm starting to learn how to do it. 10 weeks in, right? I've made a lot of really great friends since moving here. Boulder is filled with some really great people. Most are not, but some, I'm kidding. Boulder is filled with really sweet people. I think everybody here has been actually very, very sweet and very receptive, I would think. Especially as I've advocated for myself on social media and talked about this whole culture shock thing or whatever. Even though Boulder has been a predominantly white place, people have been really receptive to that and hearing me out, and I can only appreciate that. You don't have to, but people have, and I really appreciate that about Boulder. It's a very beautiful place, and the mountains here are really pretty. College is great. It's hard at first. It's hard to adjust to, but with the strength of God, because, without the power of God behind everything I do, I'm completely inadequate. So with the strength of God, I've been able to adjust better and feel a little less homesick, although I'm not going to lie to you guys, I am counting down the days until I get to go back to Chicago for Thanksgiving break. Literally counting down the days. But that's okay. Now, the funniest thing that I think has happened since moving here is this whole Chicago Barbie thing. I have to talk to you guys about it. This whole, nobody will ever get this. But since moving to Boulder, I think a lot of people have seen my little TikToks because, I'll just say hey, get ready with me for the class photo or get ready with me for welcome week at CU Boulder or whatever. And I'm just thinking it's just going to be the same old as when I was in Chicago and I would make videos and my friends would see them and people would see them and then just move on with their lives. But people here have actually really gotten into this whole Chicago Barbie persona. It is hilarious and I just can't even believe it. When people come up to me at parties and are oh my God, are you Chicago Barbie? And I'm yeah. I'm just so blown away that so many people actually like it and watch my videos and have turned the Chicago Barbie person into a character. I'm oh my God, I'm so flattered. So Boulder, I really appreciate that, and I really appreciate Boulder's support. And I feel a lot of Boulder is going to be watching this podcast, so thank you, Boulder. All right, now we're going to move into our second section, which are life updates. College, my first 3 weeks were like a bliss. I'm not even kidding, a literal bliss. Like, I was going out almost every single night. I hadn't had any work yet because we barely started school. I had this group of friends, and we would just hang out all the time. We would go to parties, and we would just have fun. And then once that kind of stops happening, like the welcome week, like freshman fever fades, and you realize, like, I have to go to class every day, which is fine. That's what I expected. But I think for me, I kind of looked at college as like summer camp, like a sleepaway summer camp, where I'm like, okay, I'm going to be here for 3 weeks, and then my mom's going to come get me and pick me up. And then my mom never did. So I was like, oh my God, I actually live here. And it was just such a big culture shock for me and so hard for me to get adjusted. You know, Chicago, I'm from the city. A lot of people ask me that. I'm from the city of Chicago. I'm not from Naperville. I'm not from Oak Brook. I'm not from Oak Park. I'm from the city of Chicago. Chicago's very rich in culture. Chicago has like Black culture and white culture and Polish culture and Hispanic culture. And you know what I mean? Like, Chicago has an area, a neighborhood for everyone. And then I moved to a pretty small, predominantly white suburb of a pretty white state, and I just have this big culture shock. And don't get me wrong, I knew what I was getting into. I say this all the time. Like, I did not choose Boulder because I wanted the Black experience. Like, come on now. But I just didn't realize how much of a culture shock that it was going to be. Like, it's just so different here. From like little things of like, I noticed, this is going to be funny, all the guys here at my college, if you go to a PWI, please let me know if they do this at your college too. They like wear flip-flops a lot. Like, the women don't, but like the men wear flip-flops a lot. And I'm like so culture shocked by that, because in Chicago, like, men are like into fashion, and it's like a thing to have like nice sneakers and all kinds of cool stuff. And then I just see these men like flopping around. And when people would like complain about it, they'd be like, what? Like, what's wrong with the flip-flops? Like, the flops hate is so forced. And I'm like, oh my God, that's like normal here. Or like the techno music. Like, these are like the small things. Like, I go to parties and all I hear is oons, 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 oons. And I'm like so culture shocked, because in Chicago, all we heard was like drill music at every single party. I move here and it's like EDM and like flashing lights. And I'm like, okay, no. I've had to learn how to have fun at parties here. On a scale of 1 to 10, the funnest I've ever had is a 6. Maybe on next week's episode, I'll say it was a 7. It is Halloween, so we'll see. Ooh, spooky. But yeah, those are just like the small things. And then the big things are like, there's like very little Black people here. And there's no like Black Americans. I feel like there are a lot of African Americans here, a lot of African American kids. And for some reason, they like to segregate themselves from the Black American kids here. And then the Black American kids that I do meet are from Colorado. So I feel like I haven't met like other Black American kids from cities who like big cities like New York and Chicago and Los Angeles who are going through the same kind of culture shocks. Although I have met a few. I met a girl last night from my hometown. She was Black and she was from Chicago, and she went to Jones and I went to Whitney Young, and I was like, oh my God. There's another one of us. I followed her on Instagram. I should DM her because I feel like she might be going through a very similar thing. But I have been homesick. That's the general consensus of it. So what did I decide to do about this homesickness? Because I realized it was really throwing me off of my mental. Like, I was crying a lot. I literally was in the shower crying, and I felt God to tell me to start reading the book of Job. And I was like, when he tells you to start reading Job, baby, it's bad. Like, something's going on. So I've been reading Job every morning, and it's been really, really helping me, because, like, you think your life is hard, baby. Go see what Job was going through. Job lost his wife, his children, his health, livestock, everything. I'm like, oh my God, what more could you take from Job? But God found more to take. But that's okay, because he restored it, and 10 times more than what he lost. So I was like, that's why I got to keep reading Job. That's why I got to keep reading Job. So I decided to see a therapist. Yes, that is right, everybody. Chicago Barbie went to see a shrink. And it was a great experience. I was kind of nervous at first because I wanted to talk to her about culture shock. Like, I was kind of hoping to have like a Black therapist. But then I remembered there's nobody Black here. So I was like, let me just get used to this. And I really liked my therapist. And we were just able to talk about some of the cultural differences. And like I said, I think she was really receptive to it. Although she might not understand it as well, she was really receptive. And that's all I could ask for. And, you know, I've had people, even like white women, come up to me on the bus here or at parties on campus or whatever and say, hey, like, I saw what you said about being a black girl in suburbia, and although I'm not a woman of color, I understand what you're saying, and I really appreciate you for speaking out, and I'm sorry that you're going through that. And I'm like, oh my God, that's all I asked for, some recognition, some acknowledgement for it. Would I like to see the Noops and the Qs and the AKAs at Boulder one day? Absolutely, but I'm realistic, and I know what it is. So yeah, homesickness has been a big thing for me. Learning to be independent has also been a big thing for me. You know, I started this podcast because of my health struggles back in junior year. And I still kind of struggle with my health. Like, I don't know if you guys have been watching my TikToks every day. If you haven't, go follow my TikTok at Chicago Barbie Presents. I got like the frat flu here and it never went away. My throat's super sore recording this now, but I just can't help but talk to you guys. I just love talking to you guys. Just talk. I just struggle with that still. Like, some days I just feel like I'm crashing. Like, I literally went today in my vlog, which you guys will see on YouTube later. Make sure to go subscribe to my YouTube channel. I was literally walking up our like incline to go to the case building, and I was so tired. Like, I felt like I was gonna faint, and I was like, oh my God. Having chronic like health issues is so hard to deal with, especially when you're on your own. Like, I didn't realize how much help I had when I had my mom and I was living at home, because if I was super tired and I like went to bed or like fell in my bed, my mom was the person that would come in my room and like tuck me in or make me food and like bring it to my room, and it was so convenient. And I didn't realize that. But in a way, I think it really is a good thing to learn how to take care of myself, because like I said, I can't rely on my mother forever. I'm learning how to do things for myself even when I feel the worst. There was one day I had food poisoning from Taco Bell, actually, and it was so bad, like really bad. Like, I could not sneeze for 3 days. Like, I don't know what's in Taco Bell, but I had like a big fever and my heart was racing and I didn't know what to do. And I was like, oh my God, I need my like mom here because my roommate wasn't home. I was here like sweating on the couch, thought I was going to die. It was this whole thing. I was all dramatic, but I got through it. And I got up to get a hot water bottle for myself, which I was really proud of, because like a big symptom for me is like I used to get the shivers a lot. It was like really bad. But I got up to make myself feel better in like the midst of me feeling like crap. So I'm learning independence. I'm learning how to just do things that I didn't do a lot in high school, like wake up on time and stuff. I was really bad at that. I'm still late to a lot of my classes, but I'm learning. I'm doing well. Like these last 2 days, I've been doing well. You guys would be really proud of me. You guys would be super proud of me. And I'm also learning my biggest lesson. I'm learning to trust God through it. I keep saying to my friend, me and my friend, we've been getting super close lately. She doesn't go here, but she has a similar problem at another university. And I always like text her. I'm like, if God can bring you to it, God can bring you through it and out of it. Like, there were so many times, I remember when I was deciding on what college to go to, I would sit on my floor and I would pray. And I was like, God, you show me where you want me to go. I know, like, it'll make sense. It'll click. It'll be easy. Like, I know when it's the right university for me, it's the right university for me. And God led me here. Through lots of prayer and petition, I came to the University of Colorado Boulder. Is it like I had expected it to be? No. Is it different? Am I homesick? Is it a culture shock? Absolutely. Is it perfect? No. But I know this is the place God called me to be. I don't know exactly what his plans are for me here, but I trust in his plans. And that's what I'm learning to have, like blind faith. Do I have an idea in my head for what God wants for me? Not really, but I know whatever it is, it's going to be great, because that's just the God that I serve. So I'm learning to just trust God through this, trust God through this process. I've been heavy in my Bible. That Bible in that gym is going to change you. I only do one, but it's going to change you. I'm telling you. I've been heavy in my Bible, heavy in prayer, just leaning on God, because that's my person. That's the person I go to for support. If I'm upset, I talk to God. If I'm going through something, I talk to God. If I need a little like encouragement, I just talk to God. Just talk to God like he is your best friend. That will get you through the toughest times of your life, because this is the toughest thing I've ever gone through. There are so many times I've sat at my kitchen table crying because I want to go home, and God has been like, stay patient, stay here, whatever. And I already see like a little improvement on not only my mood and my behavior and my adjustment here, but just other circumstances. Like I'm getting closer with some friends. I'm like starting things that I've been wanting to start. Like I just see little bits of improvement every day. And that's because God has a plan for me and I trust him. So learning to have blind faith has been a hard lesson. I've shed many, many tears. I've been impatient. I've been angry. I've been hurt. But I just know, I know God's going to get me through this because he's never left me in the storm before. So he's not going to now. I'm also learning how to handle transitions with grace. I've noticed that since moving to Boulder, I've been a little more temperamental in the sense of like, I just already feel like a target because I just feel so singled out and so isolated. So when people do anything to trigger me, I kind of like am so quick to react. And that's not the person I am. I've never been like that. So that's another thing I pointed out in therapy. I was like, I feel like I've been more temperamental and so quick to react because I want to show people like, hey, like you can't run me over, whatever. I know I'm already isolated. I'm already alone. And that scares me. All anger roots from fear. Anger is a secondary emotion. Fear is a primary one. And I know my anger roots in the fear of being alone and being isolated. So as I address that fear, I know I'm becoming less and less angry because the last thing I want to do is be labeled an angry black woman. You know, I don't really know what I'm labeled as of right now. I don't really keep up with what people say about me because I've just never been that kind of person. All I know is I want people to look at me and see God's girl because that's what I am. I'm not perfect. I'm not anything by that means, but I'm somebody who's trusting God right now, and I want people to see that when they see me. I want somebody to feel the love of Jesus when they talk to me, and I don't think I've done the best job in the last 9 weeks conveying that, and that's something that I'm praying on, and I hope you guys can pray for me. It would be I would be very grateful for it. All right, now we're going to switch to my favorite segment, my Ask Alex segment. I love when you guys submit these questions. It is actually the funnest thing for me to answer you guys' questions. I love them. I picked 5 questions for today. Super excited to answer them. If you want to submit your Ask Alex questions, the link is in my Instagram bio. All you have to do, and in the episode description, all you have to do if you follow me on Instagram is just click the link in my bio and submit your question completely anonymous. Or if you're listening to the episode, you just click the episode link and boom, that's all you have to do. It's completely anonymous. You don't have to put your name, your age, any of that. I love answering you guys' questions. Let's keep the Ask Alex going. Okay, first question is, hi Alex, how do you stay confident when you feel invisible? You just have to get your confidence from God. Because I know Boulder and Chicago are such different places, and I feel like in Chicago I was more seen and more appreciated, and then I moved to Boulder and I just don't feel that way about myself, or I don't get that reaction from people the same way that I used to back home. But I know that my confidence doesn't stem from how people perceive me. My confidence stems from the Lord. God brought me here, and I'm confident in his plans for me. So even if I'm not the beauty standard in Boulder, or even if I'm looked at differently because I'm black in suburbia, I know that I'm meant to be here because God led me here, and that's where my confidence stems from. So your confidence shouldn't come from what people say about you or what you think about you. It should come from God. Read the Bible. It says you're fearfully and wonderfully made, and that's what you should know about yourself at all times. Okay, second question. Hey Alex, how do you make friends in college without losing yourself? Okay, that's a good question. College is very different than high school in my opinion. Yeah, there are still cliques and stuff like that, but I feel like it's a little easier to make friends here because there are people from all around the world and nobody wants to be lonely in college, so it's pretty easy. Like in the beginning, you can literally just knock on random people's doors and ask for room tours, and people just give it to you, and that's how I made friends in the beginning, or just stuff like that. I would just also say I would say this kind of just applies to PWIs and HBCUs. I would just say, when you're making friends, make friends with people that align with your values. I've cut off several friends since starting college that don't align with my values. Like, if you're somebody who's into things that I'm not into necessarily, or you live a lifestyle that I don't necessarily agree with, and this is not coming from a judgmental place. Like, I'm not better than anybody, but I just know that Iron sharpens iron. Is that the verse? I'm not really good at this. I'm still kind of new. Just got baptized a year ago. As iron sharpens iron, the wise leads the wise, or something like that. That sounded like Medea. Okay, that was like a Medea way of quoting the Bible. But iron sharpens iron, okay? And you just want to be around godly people and people who have the same morale as you do. And if you find yourself in a clique or in a group of people who do not, then maybe you shouldn't be around them. That's just my advice. Okay, third question. Oh, fuck. Okay, what's your advice for balancing college stress and spiritual life? Okay, I have not been the best at that. I have to be honest. My best piece of advice is the way that I get like my God in for the day. I'll do the Mel Robbins 3-2-1 method where I won't snooze my alarms and I'll like get right out of bed. And once I do that, I'll have enough time to do my morning devotionals, read my little like Bible, journal and pray, and like I have time to do that. But if I don't have time to do that, God is an understanding God. Listen to a Christian podcast like instead of secular music, or watch The Chosen instead of The Housewives of Potomac. These are they're very specific. Just learning to do stuff like that, just learning to make time for God in your everyday life. Like even if you can't give him 30 minutes in the morning and 30 minutes at night like you would want to, learn to give him 5 minutes between classes, or we're in college, so you probably have an hour or two between classes. So learn to give him that time, or just like go to the dining hall alone and just like have a really good prayer before your meal, unless you're super hungry, because he's also understanding and you can pray after. I don't know. Just learn how to incorporate him into your daily life. That's the biggest lesson I've learned. Alex, what's been the hardest part about moving away from home? I would just say feeling isolated. You know, being Black in suburbia is not for the weak. I always felt like I fit in at home. I never felt weird for the way that I looked, or for the way that I talked, or the way that I behaved, or anything. And then I move here and it's just a complete 180 and a complete culture shock for me. And I felt really isolated since moving here. That's been really, really hard for me, but I feel like it's also been a good thing because I've gotten really comfortable in my own company, to the sense where it's like I can be completely by myself. I can go eat by, I've always kind of been like that though. I can go eat by myself. I can go to the movies by myself. I can go to the mall by myself. I can sit at home by myself and I'll be okay. I won't feel lonely because I find comfort in my own presence. All I need is the Lord. I don't need anybody but the Lord. And that's the only person I need. So yeah. Okay. Last question. Alex, what does Chicago Barbie mean to you now? This is very reflective. I think the whole Chicago Barbie name is like, a lot of people look at it and they think about glam, because I'm always doing my makeup and I'm always getting my hair done, or, you know, trying to be like this kind of like Barbie doll or whatever. But it's not about that. It's more about faith and resilience and growth, especially during hardships and tough times, you know. That's what the name kind of means to me. I made the name up my junior year of high school. It was a complete joke. I never thought people would be on the street and be like, oh my God, are you Chicago Barbie? Like, I never thought people would actually call me that. It's actually really funny to me. But to me, I don't think it's as glam as people think of it as. I think it's about being faithful and being resilient and learning to trust God even in the toughest of times. Oh my goodness. Okay, that was so fun. I love doing the Ask Alex segments. Please, guys, submit your Ask Alex questions for a chance to be featured in next week's episode. That was so fun. All right, now we're going to transition into our fourth segment, Faith Talk. Okay, I literally wrote this down earlier. When I moved here, I thought I'd lose myself, but God reminded me that even in the mountains, He's still God. I thought that was so funny because I moved, like, the geological culture here is so crazy. It's like such mountain culture because Colorado is known for the beautiful mountains here. Absolutely stunning, by the way. He's still God in a big city with a big skyline, and He's still God in a small city with big mountains. He's still God. And I'm learning to trust my God. I'm learning to trust God because of His character. God is so loving and so faithful, and He has brought me through so many things time and time and time and time again. So many things. Like, I censor a lot of stuff on here, but like if you guys knew the uncensored version of my life, you'd be like, wow, God has delivered her from a lot, because I've really been through a lot, and I've really overcome a lot of things and a lot of obstacles to be in the position that I'm in today, and I can only rejoice and sing praises about God because of that, because I would be nowhere without God. God gave me a second chance at life completely my junior year. Like, I was not okay.
Hi, Fawn. Sorry.
You're fine.
Me?
God gave me a complete second chance at life. I've been able to turn my life around, and he's given me this beautiful sports career, and I'm able to sit here and talk to you guys on a podcast now, and like, it's just completely different than what I thought my life would be, and it's the best life for me. And so that's why I know God always has my best interest at heart. And I trust God. I really do trust God. I stay grounded. I stay grounded in prayer. Faith makes me feel sane. There's so many times I would have lost my mind completely. And I mean, like, packed my stuff up and just gone home. Like, not even finished first semester. Like, completely dropped out. If God was not there to accompany me. And I'm not saying college has been super tough, because it hasn't. I really go to a great university. I'm surrounded by great people. I live in an amazing and safe space. It's not the worst thing in the world, but it's different. And sometimes change can be so difficult. But God has really guided me through this change. And I'm going to continue to allow him to guide me through this change, no matter how hard it's going to get. Okay. Now we're just going to get into our last segment, which I'm going to call Barbie's Thoughts, because we're playing into this little Chicago Barbie nickname, which I really like this whole persona. It's really fun. College is all about becoming. It's about becoming a new person, a new student. It's all about becoming, because these are like your last years before you're a full-on adult. After college, you're going to live on your own. You're going to have your own job. You're going to pay your own bills. Life's going to be a little tough. These are your years where you're going to decide, what kind of person am I going to be for the rest of my life? I've been reflecting on that question a lot, and I can envision the kind of person that I want to be for the rest of my life, and I'm working towards becoming that person. I don't know if it was Mel Robbins who said this. I'm pretty sure it was. I love the Mel Robbins podcast, if you guys couldn't tell. But I've been learning to act like the person I want to become. You know, do the behaviors of the person that you want to become. What would the person that you want to become do in the morning when they wake up? Would they snooze their alarm, or would they get out of bed, make their bed, journal and pray and work out? Like, you know, the person that you want to become, you have to just start exhibiting those behaviors to become that person. That sounds very redundant, but I promise you it made a lot more sense in my head. That's what I'm learning to do. And that's what I hope you guys take from this. Like, that's like the main lesson for today. That's like the big question. College is like the thing. College is like the time that's going to prepare you. What kind of person do I want to become for the rest of my life? That's our big question. And how are you working towards becoming that person? I want to thank you guys so much for listening to yet another episode of Literally My Life, My Guide to Girlhood. I love recording these. I love being able to talk to you guys. I am so grateful to be back. We're going to be back every week now. I'm so happy to be back. The blog is back as well. Make sure to subscribe to our blog. I should have brought that up. We have a lot more life updates coming up. Today's Halloween, so we have to do a Halloween weekend recap soon. I'm vlogging all of Halloween weekend, so make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm going to a frat formal in a couple of weeks that we definitely will have to debrief on. We just have a lot to talk about before Thanksgiving, okay? And then I'm going to be home, and we'll have a lot to talk about when I get home, I'm sure. Thank you guys so much for listening always. I love you guys, and I will see you guys next week on My Guide to Girlhood Monday. Bye.
Alright guys, that's it for this week's episode of Literally My Life, My Guide to Girlhood. If today's chaos, clarity, or confessions hit home, don't keep it to yourself. Rate the show, send it to your favorite group chat, and follow for more real girl talk. New episodes every Monday. And remember, the glow up is internal and the soft life is earned. I'll see you next time. Barbie out.